from Radio Row in New Orleans, Louisiana. Super Bowl week, baby. Eagles and Chiefs rematch. Some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment will be right here. Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Yes, indeed it is. Day 2 from Radio Row here in New Orleans. A lot to talk about. A lot of guests will join us over the next couple of days. But as promised, we wanted to still give you the normal long-form Jet YouTube show that you've grown to love here on the channel. So joining us in his weekly spot is the great Robby Sabo. Robby, do you wish you were in New Orleans with me eating some gumbo and eating some fried gator?
No, not at all.
Not at all? All right. Never mind.
Ask me at 7 p.m. tonight. Yeah, maybe. I might change my mind.
All right, that's fair. I won't lie to you. That is fair. We got a lot to talk about. We're gonna have some great guests on the channel throughout the day. But Robby, you were kind enough to still join in your weekly spot. So a couple things I want to get into. I want to talk to you about the coaching staff because there's been some updates since, of course, the last time you were on the show. But I also want to play you right off the bat some insight on the latest with Aaron Rodgers and his future with the Jets. This, I believe, is flying under the radar. Peter Schrager, longtime NFL host, longtime NFL reporter for the NFL Network and Fox Sports. He was a guest on the New York podcast. That's John Jastrzemski's podcast with The Ringer. And JJ asked him about the relationship between Woody Johnson and Aaron Rodgers. And Peter Schrager essentially said the reports out there have been wrong. Take a listen to Schrager on the podcast breaking down Rodgers and Woody.
There were some reports that maybe they were not singing Kumbaya. You think that is okay?
I think the reports were wrong. The reports were that they were at ends with each other. I don't think that's the case. I think Rodgers had issues with how the building is run and how things go. I also think that there were reports that he went out to dinner with Woody Johnson. Well, no, he went out to dinner with Chris Johnson, who's the younger brother, who is totally different than Woody. Like, I don't think Rodgers and Woody socialize. I don't think there's some great friendship there.
They're not sipping tea in London,
No, I don't think so. But I think that, like I said, a month removed, new people in the building, cooler heads could prevail. And if I had a gut, I don't see a better option than him. And if he's
there's not a better option, Peter. And there's not. If I want to win, he's my quarterback next year.
And you know what? I get the whole let's clear it out. I think you're almost better off having Rodgers and winning games if you want respect and authority in the building than just having some makeshift quarterback or a third round rookie starting and going 2-15 and having to dig out of that hole. So I think, to your point, if you're a leader of men and you're the Aaron Glenn that has all this confidence and respect in the building and respect and trust from the players, well, then you can handle a personality like Rodgers being in the building. He's the quarterback. He plays football. That's what he is. There's no more, and he's not going to have more of that than what I have in the building.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, if you watch the show, you know my stance on bringing Rodgers back. What did you make of those comments and the perceived relationship between Rodgers and ownership? According to Peter Schrager, not nearly as bad as what the reality or what the perception of the reality is.
Yeah, in my opinion, he's 100% right. It's, it's a fascination with Rodgers, and it trickled down to the broadcast booth even. Who did that last game? Was it Ian Eagle? I forgot who did the Miami game where he threw 4 touchdowns, but they made it sound like this is his last game in the NFL and blah, 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 and it's his swan song. And listen, we're moving way too fast. There has been no indication that he doesn't want to come back to the Jets or he's going to retire. That's number one. Number two, I think it's because of his polarizing nature that we get ahead of ourselves with this angle. And so many people just hate the guy and they're just sick and tired of the guy. That any little thing, just one report, no matter if it's substantiated or not, gets that train rolling. So, more people than not think he's gone and he's a goner and he's not coming back and blah, blah, blah. Dude, Aaron Glenn is Rodgers' type of coach. Let him bark. Let him bark at each other. Let him argue. That's the guy Rodgers respects, the guy who will confront him, and that is Aaron Glenn. So in my opinion, he's coming back unless I'm told otherwise.
I still think, one, he gives them the best chance to win. Two, you look at Rodgers' other options. I don't see the obvious fit for him out there. And three, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is done playing football. So I still think there's a way for him to come back and this team to have a chance to be competitive and fight for the playoffs next year. If Aaron Glenn's the coach, everyone claims he's supposed to be. Why not? And the other thing Schrager said that I agree with, we make way too much of this. Oh, starting over and bringing in his guy. It's like Aaron Rodgers can help you win games. Like, that should be the job of any coach, to win games. You want to build a culture. You want to establish a program. It's a lot easier to do that if you're seeing results early on by winning football games rather than, as Schrager says, winning 2 games next year. And I don't think they'd win 2 games if Rodgers isn't here, because the talent, I think, is far better than that. But, like, there's a ceiling with Aaron Rodgers where you're in the playoffs next year. That's not a crazy thought.
We got to get away from this tankathon idea. I mean, God bless Tankathon. The website came up with it specifically for the NBA. The Spurs classically did it for Tim Duncan in the 90s, and then on and on we go. And it works more so than not in the NBA. NFL, there have been very few cases of teams doing that. Andrew Luck. I mean, that's really the only one I could think of that is a definitive example. Let's get away from it. It's not a all in or reset process. It's not that black and white. There is gray, so much gray in football. And the way to turn around the culture is to win right away. They have talent. Here's the classic retort from Jets fans. Oh, we overrate the talent as fans. Sure, we do. Every fan base does that. But again, live in the gray area. To what degree? I don't think it's a large degree that we overrate them. There is talent here because, if the overrate argument is true, the pundits and the entire world wouldn't have had the Jets predicted to be good this year. Yet they did universally. So it has to be just Jets fans, and it wasn't. So there's talent here. They could win right away. And I think Glenn, as long as he's himself when he meets Rodgers, he's going to be back.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We're talking with Robby Sabo in his weekly spot on the show. I announced it yesterday on the show, but I want everyone to be on the lookout for it this afternoon. Jets GM candidate Thomas Dimitroff is set to join me today. I will go in-depth with him on Aaron Rodgers and go in-depth with him on his Jets interview and whether or not he thought he had a legit chance of getting the job. He was the first person to interview for the gig, so that's coming up on the channel this afternoon, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed to us here on YouTube. And if you want behind the scenes from our time here in New Orleans, at Jake Asman on Instagram and Twitter is the place to do it. Robby, what I'm going to present to you right now is my review of fried gator. I had it last night with dinner, and I lived to tell the tale. In fact, not only did I live, but I loved it. Here's my full review.
Jake Asman trying gator.
First ever gator. Not Gator McCluskey. Gator, like alligator. Here we go, folks. New Orleans for life.
What's it like, Jake Asman?
Just like chicken.
Overall review. There we go.
Yeah,
Tastes
dude.
like chicken.
Yeah, dude. Silence of the Lambs hit me right away. Like, where's McCluskey at?
Gator McCluskey.
Like, where you eating McCluskey number 1 and number 2? Was it gator that the water boy ate back in his homeland? I forget what the delicacy was.
He was a Cajun man.
Yes,
that Bobby
yes.
Boucher.
And hey, dude, he had all the physical attributes. So let's pay attention to Jake to see how he grows over this next week or so.
Hit the like button. Make sure you send in a super chat if you want it addressed. I also have another exciting announcement. So we've been doing raffles on this show since the start of December. We have, of course, our biggest one ever, right? A Joe Namath helmet we're giving away on Friday. Also, a Joe Klecko signed helmet, a signed Mark Gastineau helmet, a signed Aaron Glenn photo, an Aaron Glenn jersey. And you want something even cooler? How about in honor of the Super Bowl? We have a second autographed Joe Namath helmet we're now raffling away on Friday, Robby. That is 2 Joe Willie helmets. I was able to get another one. 2 Joe Willie helmets that will be raffled away this Friday. So if you want in on the raffle, you now have 2 chances to win a Namath helmet plus the other helmets. So get the membership or send in a super chat. $5 get you 1 for this week only. $10 get you 3. $20 get you 5. We have upped the ante on the raffle all week long. Thank you to everyone for the support.
Do you
it
think,
allows us to do it.
Jake, do you think Namath is the most wanted, desired individual in the Jets fan base with memorabilia still, or do you think someone has surpassed him?
Ooh, I think Namath has to be number one, right?
Right.
Because he connects with all areas of the fan base. Whether you saw him play or not, you know the legacy. He's the Super Bowl MVP. He's Joe Willie. I don't know. I guess we'll see based on how many more people gift memberships if they're interested in winning it.
It's very intriguing to me. Namath, I got to go. I'd say Namath one, and then probably Klecko and Krebet are behind him at 2. It's tough to find another one besides those 3.
Curtis Martin, maybe?
Maybe Curtis. Revis in the top 5, but I think, he's not as beloved. Everyone recognizes his greatness, but, he's not as beloved as the other 4, I think.
100%. So how about it? 2 Joe Namath helmets now added to our raffle. All right, Robbie, first time I've had you on since the Jets have made a boatload of hires to Aaron Glenn's coaching staff.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull up a little graphic here, a tweet from Zach Rosenblatt, just to show everyone where things stand. We have Tanner Engstrand as the OC, Steve Wilkes, the DC, Chris Banjo, the special teams coordinator. So those are the 3 coordinators. We'll start with that. What are your thoughts on Glenn's 3 coordinator choices?
Well, I'm going to start with Wilkes, the guy we know best because he's done it before. 4-3 guy, has played 3-4 in the past, but shout out Michael Mania. If you want to know Wilkes a little bit further, go on Jets X Factor. He's got a Wilkes article he wrote a few days ago. He's not afraid of mixing it up and going hybrid with some 3-4 looks, but mostly 4-3. The hire doesn't excite me, but I think that's not a bad thing. Having that stability. He has moved around a bit in the past 6, 7, 8 years, so that concerns me a little bit. But if you look at his stretches before that, he was in 1 area, 2 areas for a good long stretch. So I'm not too concerned about it. I like the experience. Having the experience there, he's going to call plays, really solid. Engstrom, hey, he's got Ben Johnson ties. He's got it was with Detroit. He's got Harbaugh ties. It's tough to evaluate not knowing who the quarterback is going to be first. If it's Rodgers, I feel a lot better about it because Rodgers can do what he loves to do on top of whatever scheme Engstrom and Glenn put in. And people don't realize this. People think it's Rodgers' scheme or nothing. No, there could be a mix. There could be something meshing where what he likes to do could be a layer on top of their scheme. And then Banjo, hey, ties with Westhoff. I don't think Westhoff has spoken about it yet. But I'd be shocked if Westhoff doesn't come back and laud Banjo.
So he apparently spoke with Aaron Glenn and gave his approval before
Did he?
The Banjo hiring happened, 100%. And also Sean Payton swears by Banjo as well, who Glenn is obviously very close to.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, ties with Westhoff, what you like, and Glenn too. He's a Parcells disciple. I mean, not direct disciple, because he never coached under him, but he's been around him long enough to feel good about that lineage. So, I think that's the common theme what I'm seeing right now in terms of this coaching staff. The lineage of each guy is strong stuff, and I think that should excite Jets fans.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Super chats will cut the line. Also get you raffle entries. We just added another Joe Willie Namath helmet to the raffle. We have 2 Namath helmets that are autographed with certificates of authenticity. Klecko helmet signs, Gastineau helmet signs, Glenn photo signed, and a Glenn jersey. So that's 6 prizes. And I didn't even mention the Charles Gorman authenticated game-worn underwear as well.
Dude, are people buying the underwear?
The underwear has been a hot seller.
Oh, dude, I mean, who knew? So many Jets fans want your last name on their ass. I never would have thought it.
It's quite fitting to have the last name Asman and have the logo be on the ass.
Hey, that proctologist parking spot is a beaut. You got to grab it.
No doubt. Comments, questions, super chats for Robby, Sabo. What do you make of the rest of the offensive staff, Robby? Because you look at Aaron Glenn as a defensive guy. He says he's going to coach the whole team. We know Engstrand's the most important hire. How do you feel about the O-line coach being a guy who's coming over from being a tight end coach, and now he's going to be the O-line coach? The quarterback coach is a guy who's been a running backs coach. I like the Scott Turner hire as the passing game coordinator. There's a lot of experience there. But what have you made of some of the offensive coaching hires?
As long as they all fit with one another, That's all I care about. And I'm not talking about fit in terms of getting along. I don't really want them to get along in the sense that there's no conflict. There has to be conflict, within the offense. So you have an offensive staff, the running backs coach, the O-line coach, the offensive coordinator, and Glenn, who's responsible for setting the tone and the game plan. They need to fit in terms of their core fundamentals and principles. And as long as that happens, you want conflict, you want disagreement. And from that end, I mean, yeah, Heinen, he's a tight end at heart, but it's okay. It's curious for sure. But I think being under Campbell, being under Ben Johnson, seeing how Detroit's line, now Detroit's O-line, I think is the best in the league. Everyone thinks so as well. But when you look at it, do they have the most talent on the O-line in the league? Sewell, best in the game, but Philly might have more talent. Other O-lines might have more talent. They just were the best in terms of execution. So maybe Heinen is that dude. Maybe he's the guy laying in wait. He was an assistant O-line coach prior in Arizona, I believe. I think for just 1 or 2 years, but still, it's not like he's completely foreign to the O-line room. So I'm not too concerned. The overarching theme is that the lineage is good with all these guys, and I think they fit with one another.
What are your thoughts on the Muji hire, Robby? Obviously, he's going to have to hire his key lieutenants and whatnot, but
yeah,
the things I'm hearing about him, the more people I talk to, no one has a bad thing to say about him. He's got like a sterling reputation, but once again, you just never know with any first timer.
What I want to know, and I forgot if we talked about this last week, but the reporting structure, a lot of Jets fans don't like it, where Woody's going back to the GM and the head coach, both reporting to Woody, as opposed to the GM running things. I'm okay with that. That's fine. It's more like Rex and Tannenbaum, Rex and Idzik, Mangini and Tannenbaum, and that's fine. Those GMs were financial guys. Muji is a personnel guy, and Muji and Glenn both reporting to Woody is fine. What I want to know is when they have conflict and when they disagree, which is going to happen, they could preach team decisions all they want. That's desirable. I would do that as well. But when there is conflict, who's the tiebreaker? That's the first answer that I think we need to get. Who is the tiebreaker? In my mind, just by my gut reaction, I think it's Glenn. So if that's the case, Muji's number 2. And he could have the GM role, but Glenn is really the face of the franchise and the guy who's at the top of the hierarchy. There has to be a guy at the top of the hierarchy. So that's the first question that needs to be answered, I think.
I've never been more convinced that Aaron Glenn is running the show, because Woody Johnson, maybe it was a slip of the tongue, he referred to Muji as a sidekick to Aaron Glenn in the press conference. That's
true. It's and he got off easy, I think, what he said in terms of, or no, maybe it was one of the PR guys, but listen, it has to be one or the other. They could say team decision all they want, and maybe they're not comfortable with saying Glenn has the final say, and I get that, but it has to be one or the other. What I know about this game, what the people who know about this game say, you have to have one at the top. It doesn't work like a democracy. The guy at the top has to be a dictator, and it has to be known that he is the dictator. And if there's any confusion about that, chaos will rain down upon you from the football gods. But having said that, the dictator's got to run it like a democracy, even though he knows he could do whatever he wants. And I think that's Glenn. And Muji, it's hard to judge, really. He was in Denver for a long time, kept moving up the chain. I like that he has playing experience at the college level. I think it was a quarterback coming in, then transitioned to receiver. He's so damn tall. Was he 6'5", 6'6"? So I like that he has a personnel background. That was something I wanted as opposed to a financial background.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. We're live here at Radio Row. We're giving you a normal New York Jets show on the channel before we stock up on a bunch of interviews. Take a look around here. Let's set the scene. Everyone say hi to Bobby Trossett, one of the biggest Ravens content creators. Buffalo almost killed him. He had to go to that shithole to watch the Ravens lose to the Bills. You hate to see it. But we have Cole Thompson here. He's helping me produce the produce the program this week. So give Robbie a look inside the house that Mike and the Mad Dog claim they built.
Yeah, dude. You ask Francesco or Russo, they started it. They were the only ones there. And what was it? Super Bowl 25, Giants Bills.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta peek in on Francesco this week to see what he's saying on his podcast.
I don't know if you can see it, but they have all the banners from all the Super Bowls here. The Super Bowl 3 banner is located right over there. It's the image. Let me go full screen on myself. Maybe you guys can see it better. That way, it's the Colts Jets. You'll see it's like they're going up for like a jump ball, a DB and a corner, or DB and a receiver, I should say. It's tough to see from here, but the Jets are represented. They're over there.
Do they have a Radio Row Ring of Honor? Is Francis's mug anywhere hanging?
Yeah, they should have a Radio Row Ring of Honor, but they do not.
Damn, dude. Last time I was at the Super Bowl was Miami. I think Chiefs for Super Bowl. Chiefs and Niners. Didn't go to the game. Just was there for the 4 days leading up, and it was laid out pretty nicely. You know, Miami, nice weather, solid. I mean, events left and right. By the time we got to Super Bowl Sunday, I was wiped. I was done.
You want to hear something that's an absolute travesty?
What was that?
I had to spend $1,100 just to get functioning Ethernet, hardline Ethernet.
Would you have to pay them?
To pay the NFL, Roger Goodell, that greedy SOB.
Oh, God, Jesus. Listen, the only thing saving Goodell is Adam Silver's moves in the NBA. I'm telling you. If Adam Silver didn't exist, you know, and Stearns was still running the NBA, Goodell would be even more hated, if you could believe it.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
Outrageous, I tell you. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We're chatting with Robby here. Super chat from Ronnie. Let's get some super chats going. Ronnie, you're in the raffle for one with this super chat. So fans don't want AR back because they don't want to lose Garrett Wilson. Do they realize that GW will want out anyway at 2-6 midseason with some free agent scrub QB?
Dude, this draping on Garrett Wilson is every fiber of his being has got to stop. Like, unbelievable receiver, ability, just outlandish ability. But I hear fans saying we overrate our talent too much. This is the case. Like, could we relax? He wants to win. I get it. It's admirable. But at the same time, you have to call him out for his faults. When he flips out on the sideline, what was it, the Miami game down in Miami or Jacksonville? I forget which one. That's a big deal. You can't do that. That's stupid. So, you know, the reports, if Rodgers comes back, how legit was that report with Rodgers and Woody not getting along and Rodgers being gone? Same goes for Garrett and Rodgers. Conflict is good. It doesn't mean they have to part ways. We saw it in the preseason. We saw it in training camp with Garrett and Rodgers going at it. That's fine. That's good. So it's okay to have conflict. It doesn't mean he wants to go or flee the scene if Rodgers comes back.
I agree. And I just feel like we make way too much of like the Garrett AR stuff. Because at the end of the day, these guys want to win, and winning cures all. And if they run a real offense and they fix the defense and Aaron Glenn's the coach we think he is, then it should be able to work. Like, I don't buy this, they're going to lose Garrett Wilson if they bring back Aaron. You're going to lose Garrett Wilson, to this Super Chat's point here from Ronnie. He's spot on. If you bring in someone who's a lot worse than Aaron Rodgers and the team keeps losing. You know, there's hey, at first it was, Garrett doesn't want to play with Aaron anymore. And then it was, Garrett's tired of all the constant change at quarterback. Well, which is it? Because we're arguing to bring Aaron Rodgers back, who helped lead you to the best statistical season you've ever had in 3 years in the league.
Listen, I wanted an experienced guy just like you with Glenn. But when Glenn came in, you start to think about it and you hear the stories, you know, how he confronted Parcells when Parcells took the job and everyone said Glenn's on the block because he wants big corners. Otis, my man Smith being one of them. James Hasty didn't make it to Parcells, interestingly, but he probably would have liked him. The confrontation. Garrett Wilson had an interesting quote when they played the Rams this year. He said hello to LaFleur, caught up with LaFleur, and the quote was, maybe I took him for granted. I'm glad he's doing well. I think I took him for granted as a rookie. Challenging these guys is the best thing you could do for them. And who knows? What Rodgers and Garrett just went through this past year might have been the best thing for both of them, especially Garrett. You know, in the time, you don't want players to be happy all the time. You don't want that kumbaya. They could be upset, and you got to challenge them. And at the end of the day, Parcells, when he came in with the Giants, everyone hated the man, hated his guts. He was a douche. Like, everyone hated him, but they grew to love him because they understood the psychology of it and what he did for them. And at the end of the day, that tough love is the real love. So stop with the Garrett Rodgers stuff. It's nonsense.
I agree. Look, at the end of the day, like I think Garrett wants to win. And I think if Garrett takes a step back and reevaluates the season, he'll realize his best chance of winning is with competent coaching and Rodgers at quarterback. You know, I think, the cut we played at the beginning from Peter Schrager, I think the point he made about cooler heads prevailing a month removed from all this, like I do think when you immediately react, it's like, F this, I want out of here. And then you take a step back and realize, okay, new regime coming in, that's going to provide some optimism, that's going to provide some hope. And I think players really do like Aaron Glenn. Like that's the advantage he's going to have early on. People are going to believe in him to be the guy. No one has a bad thing to say about Aaron Glenn.
Right. And guess what? If Aaron Glenn and Rodgers both tell me they won't return if the other one's here, guess what? They're both gone. That's it. Like I'm not playing that game if I'm Glenn. Like that's not appeasing one or the other is not going to set the right tone for moving forward. So if they want to play that game and say I'm not returning if the other's here, see ya. Both of you guys are gone.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Beastbreaker writes, and I feel like the Stone Cold Steve Austin of this generation. Robbie, your thoughts on that?
Who's the Stone Cold?
Beastbreaker.
Beastbreaker, dude, you are King Kong Bundy all the way.
I see. Well,
you are King Kong, maybe George the Animal Steel on a good day when he stole Miss Elizabeth out of the ring. But one of the two. Or Bam Bam Bigelow, too. That's the third sneaky one.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah.
I like it. Anyway, Stack says we have 510 people watching and only 148 likes. The math is not mathing, people.
Piss poor.
What are we doing here? Come on. All right, I came all the way to New Orleans for you guys to not like the video. What are we talking about? Let's mention some calls here with Mr. Sabo. Gusbuster hotline is open. Reminder to join the Patreon if you haven't. It's patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Want to give a huge shout out to our recent Patreon subscribers. Wisteria Hysteria. He's been a long time listener. He finally made the plunge. He joined the Patreon and he signed up for the entire year. Jet Fuel 27, Thomas Rossi, and Ed Carco, the most recent Patreon subscribers. Plus, I want to shout out listener John, who I bumped into in New York City at the barbershop before I headed down to New Orleans over the weekend. So shout out to you, John. I had it on my list to give you a shout out. Thanks for saying hello. With that said, are you ready for some calls, Mr. Sabo?
I can't believe he tried to compare himself to Stone Cold. I mean, dude, Beast, I love you, but come on now.
You want to challenge the Beast right away, Sabo?
Let's go. Come on, bring on that Beast.
Here we go.
Beastbreaker.
He's gonna explode, folks.
You know what that was, Robbie? That was a punch.
That was
I'm trying to get into my monk mode right now, and I'm trying to think right now. I like that Bill Parcells quote you guys were bringing up. That actually was good, real good. That one part you said at the end of the day, love him or hate him, you got to be facts. That life takes us wherever it goes. It could be good, it could be bad, or it could be in between, 50-50 down the road. But at the end of the day, just remember these words: who pays your checks? And next year, Aaron Glenn's going to make an example out of our boys. We're going to bring them here. They're going to work for their checks. And if they get in, off the field, we're not going to have this. We're not going to have the crying. We're not going to have the whining. We're not going to have none of that. We're going to hit in the face.
Beastbreaker. 666 $50 will send his ass to the hole where there's no gabagool.
Strong takes from Beastbreaker, Robbie. Your thoughts?
Yeah, he needs to drop that $1,100, I think.
The chat wants Beastbreaker to fix his internet.
Yeah, that's
he
needs a little Goodell in his life. Man, he did some Street Fighter pose at the beginning. I was thinking about Blanca. Paint him green, folks.
That intimidate you?
It's Hayuka. It's something, dude. What would Beast's finishing move be? Chat, give it to us.
I don't know. By the way, hey, Cole, behind you is Kayvon Thibodeau. If he happens to walk by, stick a mic in his face and be like, Remember that time you were mocked to the Jets a lot, but you didn't?
Yeah.
Kayvon's literally to my left right now. Anyway, what do
Who's
we
he
got?
talking? Who's he talking to? Is he just roaming aimlessly?
So we're set up near like the bounty booth where they have paper towels after they serve you wings. And
Okay.
I think he's doing like an appearance over there.
Nice.
Cole will give everyone a little tour of the bounty booth. They have like a football display. We were going to film some content over there. Do a little quarterback challenge.
Nice.
Let's see. Super chat from Big Fella. He writes in, better sandwich, muffaletta or Italian sub? I will say an Italian sub is the better sandwich, but I really did enjoy a muffaletta last night with dinner. It was excellent.
I gotta go Italian as well. Double down.
Eric with a super chat. Jets drafted Olu last season, which helped our offensive line, and now go out and draft last season Bowers and get Ty Warren. All right. We're doing the Warren debate. At 7, would you take him, Mr. Sabo?
It depends. It depends who's there, obviously. Am I against it? No. I mean, everyone heard my thoughts on Bowers last year. He wasn't my top option, but he was in the mix. In other words, I didn't understand the defiant opposition to it. My big board, we were going over it at JetX recently. I had Bowers 3 or 4. I think it was the 2 receivers, then Alt, and then Bowers. So listen, if I was in on Bowers last year, I'm in on Warren this year. It just depends on a lot of situations, obviously, but I'm not opposed to it.
I am not as against it this year as I was last year because they have the offensive tackle situation solidified on the left side. And last year, that was a huge need with everything that this past season was supposed to be about. I just don't know if Warren is worth a top 7 pick. I don't know if he's Bowers. If you tell me he's Bowers, then for sure. But Bowers was a historical outlier based on what he did last year.
I don't know either yet. I haven't watched Warren enough. Is he better in line than Bowers? Is he more balanced than Bowers? Potentially. But is he as good, vertical threat wise in the air? Probably not. It depends. It depends what he does in line. And I just don't know the answer yet. I mean, I watched a decent amount of Penn State this year, but without breaking down the film from the right angles, you don't know how good he is in line yet.
Comments, questions, super chats. Reminder, there's now 2 Joe Willie Name It helmets in the raffle. We're going all out for our last one of the football season here. 2 Name It helmets. Not 1, but 2. A Coleco helmet. A Gastineau helmet. A Glenn signed photo. A Glenn jersey. Those are the top 6 prizes for the biggest raffle we've ever done. And for this week only, $5 super chats are the equivalent of gifting 1 membership. So Ronnie and Eric, you guys will be entered in the raffle. Appreciate your support. More of your calls right now. Let's say hello right now to Indy Jets. What's up, Indy?
Good morning, Jake. Good morning, Robby.
What's up?
Hey, 2 points I want to get your opinion on. Rodgers hasn't committed 100% to come back yet. Is this correct?
Correct.
Okay.
He hasn't said anything. He hasn't done it.
Yeah, he's done it. So do we give him a hard date to say, I need 100% commitment by the combine, or we cut you?
No, if he drags his feet, yes, you give him a hard date privately. It's going to be up to Glenn meeting him privately.
Well, yeah, Glenn, whoever's going to give him the hard date. When do you think that date should be? Should it be the combine?
It's a good question. I don't know. As long as I don't know the specific dates. My mind doesn't work that way calendar-wise, but I would say, if I was the Jets, I think the right move is to make it quicker, sooner rather than later. I'll put it that way.
I think it could be. It could be by next week for all we know. When are they meeting? They might have a meeting on the schedule to go out there and fly to him and meet with him in person next week.
Yeah, it could happen very, very quickly after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we need I think he needs to either commit, and say, he is going to come back, or if he says he's not, then at least allow the GM and coach to start making the contingencies of what are we going to do now.
He won't do it. He won't hold him up. He will definitely.
You don't
not hold
think
him
so?
Up. No, and if he does, he's just not going to be a Jet. I'm positive about that. He's not going to hold him up. He's already said it won't drag on. But if he does,
Glenn has
that
said
means
that too. They both have said they don't want this to take forever. Like they're
correct.
going to meet and find out if they're a fit, and they're going to go from there. This is not going to be like his end of the Packers tenure where there was a mystery. No, we're past all that. It's
we're past it. Yeah. We're past it. And if he does drag his feet, that means he's intentionally playing games and he doesn't want to return. And he's afraid to say that to the. I don't think he will do that, but that would be the case. And if that happens, then the Jets move on.
So I think that probably by the end of the month we'll have our answer then, of whether he's coming back or not.
I think so.
Now, so on my second point of Rodgers, everybody said, and I've heard, we had the Zach truthers for a couple of years, and they were horrible. Rodgers, I keep hearing Rodgers played so much better in the second half than he did in the first half. I mean, Jake, numerous people have said that, correct? That he's played so much better in the second half of the season.
You talking about this past year?
Yeah, this past year that Rodgers that he started off slow and played better in the second half.
Not only
he was healthier. Yeah, I mean he looked healthier.
And Olu coming in. I think Olu coming in and not having a weak spot on the O line is when they really took off offensively.
Well, we say that we say that, but in the last 8 games that we had, so November and December, we would consider that the last second half of our season. Rodgers couldn't account for a single touchdown in the second half of 5 of the 8 games. We couldn't produce one. Now, that tells me, and we can blame it on coaching, we can blame it on whatever. Rodgers should have been able to produce at least 1 touchdown in 5 games in the second half. And he didn't do it. So when I hear people say he's gotten so much better in the second half, when was this? First quarter? That doesn't really mean a whole lot. This guy was supposed to be able to count on.
Statistically, he was a better quarterback the final 10 games of the year than he was the first, 7 games of the year. Or he was the better quarterback over the last 6 games of the year than he was the first part of the year. Like,
if you want to consider in the first half, yes. The first half of each game, yes. The second half, when you have a veteran quarterback who should be able to put the weight on his shoulders, at least on one game, 5 of his 8 games, he couldn't score 1 touchdown in the second half.
How does that compare to the first?
That's not a leader.
Here's my question: how does that compare to the first half of the season?
Actually, the first half of the season, he played better in the second half of games.
Well, I'm just curious. How does it compare? Yeah.
But Indy, that doesn't really make any sense to me. Are you trying to argue that Rodgers was somehow better the first half of the Jets season than the second half?
Rodgers played better in the first half of the season than he did in the second half of the season, especially in the second half of games.
Thanks for the time. That's just not an accurate depiction.
Listen, the first half of the season, the first quarter of the season, you go back to the first 2 weeks, he was with the plan. He was with the Hackett plan, the offensive scheme plan, the solid plan to run the football. As early as San Fran, definitely in Tennessee, they tried running it. They tried establishing that run. He wasn't changing stuff at the line, and it would consistently set them up in 3rd and long. Minnesota, second half, they started to open it up. Every time they started to go more spread and the game got fragmented is when they started to throw the ball a little bit better in the first half of the season, first 4, 5, 6 weeks of the season. It's because the rushing game wasn't working and they were trying to force feed it. You can't have that one element, mindset in terms of a game plan. And I think in the second half, especially once Olu got in there and it was Olu and Moses bookending things, they didn't have a weak spot. Their offense could really start to do things with Devontae too. I can't short Devontae also.
100%. Well, I mean, we talk about coaching, like teams make adjustments and the Jets can never adjust back. That's not just on Rodgers. And also, Rodgers played some of his best games down the stretch, like the Dolphins game twice, the Jaguars game. He played great in the entire second half against the Texans. I thought he stunk on Halloween in the first half that night.
Yeah.
He himself said that he thought he played terrible in that first half and then had a great second half. So, I think it's coaching, right? I mean, the Chargers were a 5-win team with Herbert, and then Harbaugh showed up this past year. They made the playoffs. To me, it still comes down to coaching with your quarterback, sure, but coaching being the biggest thing for this team going forward.
It's coaching, man. It's a different world, and coaching has always been important in football. 1,000 times more important in today's world where you could scheme open guys. Let's put it this way. Defenses can no longer stop offenses if the offense is doing what they want to do, if they're executing. It didn't used to be like that 30 years ago. Defenses could stop offenses. Offenses stop themselves more than defenses stop offenses in today's game, the way the rules are.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to give some love to Ryan McCarthy. He has gifted 5 memberships. He is in the raffle for another 5.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
If you hear your name called, these are from Ryan, Alex, Robert, Bill Clinton. That's right. Bill Clinton was in office the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game. Everyone remind TD Finn's talk of that. D-Rob, Andres 1K, all receiving memberships. Ryan's actually the first person 40 minutes in to get the membership. So, Ryan, thank you. Big fella's in the raffle for another entry with a $5 super chat here. Tell Storm Rocks before he fixes his internet. Tell him to change his shirt. He sweats his ass off yesterday in it. Hashtag look good, feel good. Beast, big fella is requesting you change your shirt. I'm just here to relay the message to you. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully the message is well received.
You know what time it is? I'm Beast Breaker 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gotta go.
Beast, will you be changing your shirt like Big Fella requested?
Do you see what I'm doing right now? Under construction right now. I'm a little under construction right now.
Are those DVDs?
Yeah, I'm doing an ultimate relapse right now. I'm trying to do a whole new update because I just bought another rack for $40.
Did I just see DVDs?
Nope. You see the real stuff, my friend. The real Governor McCoy. That's
Where's
right.
Where's your VHS collection? Show us that.
I don't own a VHS collection, my friend. You want the real goods? Turner right here. Here's the old WWF right there with the old ECW there. Everything.
Nice.
WCW.
Hey,
Everything
Beast.
you see here.
Hey, Beast. Show yourself for a second. I have some news to share with you.
Yeah, what's that?
Are you ready? Mike is saying, farewell, Beast.
Fuck you, Mike.
Now look what you've done.
Offensive line, defensive line.
Beast Breaker
Offensive line. The first damn boy to
666.
address.
No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to cut your call off and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. Do you understand me? You catch my drift?
Are you seriously on crack? I think
Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
How about you bending over and taking up the booty hole behind the 7-Eleven?
It's a shame, but Beast's day is unfortunately done.
Dude, the timing was perfect. The Beast, poor Beast. Look at it. Who was Yo Holmes in the comment? See, he's a perfect example of someone who's got the derangement plague, just infested into his every fiber of his being. It's never Rodgers' fault. Just ask him. It's always the coaches. Dude, I was there, Rodgers at the podium, when he blamed himself time after time for missed throws. Rodgers, he was wrong calling out Mike Williams with the whole red line thing. Shouldn't do that. Can't do that in the public. I don't think he took accountability for that. But in terms of throws, in terms of stuff that happened in the game, he put blame on himself all the time, dude. Look at it objectively. Take the emotions out of it.
I'm right there with you, but you have a certain portion of the fan base that has RDS, Rodgers derangement syndrome.
Dude, it is just, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike gifted 10 memberships. It was part of a bounty to say farewell to Beast, who is in the hole for the remainder of the show, unless someone gifts some out of it or sends in a $50 super chat to post bail. That said, following 10 people got memberships here. Dick Chimneys Burner, CLS Smooth, Matt P, KT, Spencer Green, Mike Dems, Johnny Danks, who, by the way, is on his way to LA. He's moving there, so good luck with the move, Johnny. Rex Ryan in the house. T. Dot, all receiving channel memberships. And wow, All of a sudden, Beast goes to the hole and the memberships fly off the shelves. South Philly is in on our raffle. Hit it.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Hell yeah. Another 5 from South Philly. Luis Antinosi, Trice G, Joe Santamorena, Ranger Fan 11, and DMAC all getting memberships. Those are all entries in the raffle, which if you missed it, just tuned in late, now features 2 autographed Joe Willie Namath helmets. Let's mix in some more calls with Sabo. Let's say hello right now to Lex Kai Jet. Hello, Lex Kai Jet.
Hey, Robby and Jake, how are you doing? It's actually Lex KY Jet. I'm here in Lexington, Kentucky.
Makes sense.
That's what it stands
Kentucky.
for.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And Robby, would you please tell Jake to get rid of that damn Islanders hat?
Fair.
Please. I mean, Potvin sucks, buddy. Okay.
Fair.
But
That's fair.
seriously, it's an honor to talk to both of you. This is the first time I've called in. I recently retired from doing radio work for 10 years for Alabama. I used to get an opportunity to be on the sidelines for some games. And Robby, I love what you just said about if Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers were going to give the ultimatums, that you would kick them to the curb. I wish fans, and I know you're a coach, Robby, could understand what goes on in the sidelines during games between assistant coaches who are ready to kill each other. I mean, I've heard some I wish I could tell you some stories about Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin on the headset, things that were absolutely inappropriately said.
Yeah.
But I wish people could understand what goes on during games on the sidelines, because you think they're going to kill each other and then afterwards everything's all good. But honestly, it's an honor to talk to you both, because I consider the two of you, and nothing against your other guests, Jake, but you two are the think tank of the New York Jets. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You knowledge, Robby, that you bring to it with the analytics, and Jake, not only your knowledge and your passion. I love this podcast, but when you two are together, it's really something special. And I make a point of putting it on my schedule every Tuesday tonight.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
It. Jake's got to get a non-radio guy in. That's what it, like. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
My quick question for both of you is, and I love, Robby, how you keep pointing that it's important to understand how the game's changing. And I heard Coach Saban say that many times.
Yeah,
the game changed over the course of his career, and you have to adapt to it. And I know it's kind of difficult to say where we're at in the draft. In your number one mind, Robby, number one priority, fixing the defensive line, do you think, to work on the run stop, or possibly in another area on the offense with the quarterback? I mean, the quarterback's important. It's like a goalie. You can't win to the bad goalie. But, my God, that defensive line sucked last year.
Well, so the first thing is, to your coaching point, changing the mindset defensively. Like, Salah has been the mantra itself. It's a silly mantra. All gas, no break. That is subconsciously the stupidest thing you could do, because defense, football, but especially defense with Salah, it can't be that. You have to assess. You have to sometimes two-gap it. You have to stand up sometimes. Okay, you have to understand, what is the offense trying to do to us? Are they jamming it with a zone on every play? Are they going read option? Or are they killing us with whams and traps and counters and draws, misdirection stuff, screens, because they want us to fly downhill, all gas, no break, and they just destroy us by outthinking us. And it's not that hard to do. That's where they got destroyed. So, yeah, they got to upgrade the middle and get more two-gap guys. Quinnen can't be the one tech. Like, it's absurd to have him be the biggest D lineman. I know Kinlaw's, technically the one or two eye tech, bigger than Quinnen, but they need more beef and they need to change the mindset. And to your point about the coaching, dude, I saw someone in the comments, ISU something, state champion. Yeah, we won states. Shout out Port Jervis kids. They're awesome. But me, I'm upstairs on the headset, and in addition to helping out with the defense and game planning during the week, I'm like Dr. Phil for the head coach. We scream at each other constantly. Like, you don't take it personally. You can't be sensitive. You have to clash. You have to scream at each other. You have to tell the other guy to shut the hell up, and you work within that hierarchy. And as long as the guy at the top understands that and doesn't rule like Adolf Hitler, you're going to be onto something.
Hey now.
Yeah. So, dude, yeah, to your point, interior beef, but change the mindset. That's the first thing Glenn's got to do.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to talk to both of you. And I'll just close with this. I do not understand why Beast Breaker is so angry today. Isn't it Tapioca Tuesday over at Bellevue?
Great call. Lex Kai Jet.
KY Jet.
KY Jet. Lex KY Jet. All right. Well, KY Jet, you got a call back for. All right. Great first call. Appreciate the kind words.
I will, sir. Have a great day.
Love it.
Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. How about that first time call? JV says, why is only Robby able to objectively assess Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, Robby. How come you don't have RDS?
I don't know, man. Maybe it's a good question. I don't know. It's maybe because I coach. Maybe because it's as simple as that. That, you know, I can't be there every day during the week when I'm coaching because it conflicts with the Jets. But, you know, on huddle.com with the film and game planning and going up in the booth and being on the headset, it's a weapon. It's kind of what Belichick had with Ernie Adams. Ernie Adams was in the shadows and didn't really know the players so much. And I was kind of that to our head coach, Damian Straharski. Shout out to him. Tremendous coach. And, you know, part of what I did was objectively kind of tell him what I see from the players. And, you know, those personal attachments, emotions don't get in the way of that.
Robby Sabo joining us here for a few more minutes. Let's try and mix in some more calls with him. Ladies and gentlemen, the King is on the line. King Loski is up next. What's up, King?
I love King.
Jake, my brother. Jake, my brother. Robby Sabo, my brother.
What's up, King?
It's always good to see your hair, Mr. Sabo.
Oh, you know,
always good.
Come on. That's the way God made me, and I'm gonna boast it for the world.
I love it, Sabo, man. You are my guy, bro. I love you to death, my guy. And let me just say this, man. You know, I've been watching the show, Jake, and you know I've been in the comments, baby, and I've been loving the show. I've been loving the direction of the show, man. Let me say this about this Asmaniac tournament, man. It's going to be a lot of sleepers in this tournament, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. Because, see, a lot of the old guards aren't calling like we used to. We letting the new kids on the block get they rhythm, get a little taste of the Asmaniac call in, okay? But let me just say this, baby. Boom to the committee, Tom Ace, Nick Shine, all you good fellas, Rich. Let me just say this, man. Y'all keep in mind when y'all setting that bracket up that the King is a low seed, and I did that on purpose. All right, y'all forget who originated this yelling. All right, y'all forget who originated the Asmaniac getting wild doing here. Okay, let me just say this about the Jets, though, baby. I like the direction of the team. Aaron Glenn needs to get the undisciplined bullshit out the window, out the door. Okay, let's just get that. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to my New York Knicks, baby. Gritty win last night, but we got it done. Yeah. All right. Let me just say this, man. I'm glad Jake is on Radio Row, man. Safe travels to you, Jake. Make sure you get some of that good New Orleans food. Unlike Charles Gorman, who just wanna get all of the food for himself. Hey, Charles, you need to come up off that chicken soup. All right, and all of that doggone food you've been eating. All right, tell Mama Gorman and Dennis I'm coming for dinner. JTS, JTS. Gorman, I need that food, Gorman. I need it. Huh? I need some Gorman delicacies, my guy. Huh? What you saying, Gorman? I don't need your drugs. I need the food, Gorman. I need the food.
I'll see what I can do. I think the second one. Excuse me. Hey, Jake, how are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Eugene Gorman, everybody. A cameo from Gorman.
You know, That wasn't a subtle fart, That was not subtle.
Well, at least it wasn't a wet one. Anyway,
prove it.
Because I didn't shit my pants. I would. You can tell it's a wet whenever you feel the wetness in your ass. Okay. Anyway.
I mean, the individual feel. Yeah, but the whole world doesn't. Know what. Did you buy any Asman underwear yet?
No, I did not. Anyway, Robbie, it's a pleasure to meet you again.
You too, buddy. What's up?
Anyways, I want to talk about the direction the Jets are going. Jake's laughing hysterically. Anyway, everything. Look, I agree with you on a lot of things, Robbie. I don't have Rodgers derangement syndrome. Hell, I think it's kind of a disease going around, Rodgers derangement syndrome.
It's contagious.
I think Rodgers can still. I think he can still be a good player. But obviously, there were some times where he did cause us some games a little bit. I'm not saying that we're all on him. But I think what really screwed this team over was the coaching. It was
agreed. From a top-down perspective, yeah. It's you could see it.
Coaching really destroyed this team.
You could see it. They were fighting uphill in every way and it's been that way for a long time. It got worse as the season went along, obviously, but it's been that way for years.
Yes.
Tom is right saying Robbie asked Charles what he did on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
What'd you do on Saturday?
February 1st, we went bowling.
And what about before bowling?
I went to a nice club with a lot of beautiful women.
You went to an ice club? What?
Not an ice club, a go-go bar.
A go-go bar. Hey, now, did you tip nicely, or what was your tip strategy? What was your
Well, I was instructed by Nick on how to tip them, so I tipped them the way I gave them $1.
So it was a go-go bar, so you didn't have to strategize your garment. In other words, if you went to another establishment, I've been to places where the crew I was with would strategize and not, don layers on their bottom half. You know what I mean? There's no need for Jake Asman underwear in that situation. This is a go-go bar. You didn't need to worry about that, correct?
Yeah, but oh my God. See, Jake, I'm laughing.
I can't believe I heard you laugh, Charles. Now, I just want to thank you in advance for being our model for this and being wearing the.
Get out of here!
That's not me.
That's you. You tried on 100 of these, and now they're game-worn Gormanis.
Oh, dude, it was wet because I saw like a spot on there. If that was you modeling,
that's not me modeling. I'm too dumb. That's the bigger guy. Anyway,
wait. You're saying this guy is bigger than you or skinnier than you?
Bigger than me.
Is he?
Bigger in terms of height and bigger in terms of weight.
You sure?
Not so.
Yes.
All right, we're going to do a new segment on the show, Charles. Wet or not wet? You ready?
Yes.
Not wet.
I asked
I'm
Charles,
here.
not you.
Ah, damn.
Sound like someone like a wet one. That sounded like someone almost crapped their pants.
Waterfall.
A regular fart.
It's like an air balloon.
All right, I got one more for you here. Ready?
Yes.
The OG.
Excuse me.
Fire hydrant.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to this upcoming season.
How is
I
someone
like
beating Charles in March? He can transition from fart takes to jet talk without even skipping a beat and not even laughing.
Yeah,
it's
seamless,
amazing.
dude. He's got that. Who's the comedian?
Look, I like the fact that this coaching staff is a blend of experience versus with inexperience. Like, we got a first-time offensive coordinator, we got a first-time offensive line coach, mixed with an experienced special teams coordinator, mixed in with an experienced defensive coordinator. Are we keeping Sean Jefferson?
Yes.
Which position
We're
room
keeping
you
Sean
think?
Jefferson, who's an experienced wide receivers coach. So we got some good coaches down here. So we got a really good-looking coaching staff. I hope to God this all turns out. I think it's still a great hire. What about you, Robby?
Listen, I think from a leadership perspective, it's a home run. A leadership, accountability. When asked about accountability, Glenn said the best thing. It's not in a vacuum. Each guy needs to understand what his responsibility is first. And that was missing. I'm not saying it wasn't communicated under Saleh and Ulbrich. I'm saying it was missing. There were so many games where guys on defense were just out for themselves, unintentionally, subconsciously, not making the right play for the guy next to you. Like if a screen's coming, Quincy comes, glaring in like a rocket when he could play his run angle a lot better, knowing where his help is coming from. Take it on the inside shoulder. Don't let him get around to the outside because he knows a safety's coming down in run support, inside out. So get them to know the responsibility to leadership. Great. Will Glenn play to today's modern NFL? That is what's been missing with the Jets since the league changed, since they last made the playoffs with Rex.
Real quick, Charles, your mother says move up. So
My mother's not on YouTube.
It's Roseanne Gorman. That's your mom now.
Yes, that's my mother's name, but I don't think this Roseanne Gorman's my mother.
What if it is, though? We can't rule it out.
Whatever, Jake. I'll just roll with it for now. Anyway.
Curly says, at least it wasn't a wet one, is an all-time take. Charles, you've had a lot of great one-liners. I would say that is right up there with any of them that you gave on this show today.
Gorman, which position, when they watch film, during the week, which position on the football team has the worst farting room? What do you think? O-line, D-line?
Probably the center. Probably the center.
So the O-line.
You think Joe Tippmann rips?
If he don't, it's a blessing.
All right.
Oh, man. Underrated special teams might
Ladies
be
and gentlemen,
ripping them off.
Lunch is here. Cole Thompson on wing patrol. Yes. There goes the ranch. Better pick that up. It's getting all over the carpet. Uh-oh. We got a
Tight
problem here,
ends,
folks.
someone says.
Oh, my goodness. We need more ranch.
Ranch? Who does ranch?
You're in New Orleans, Jake. Congratulations. I forgot about that.
What are you congratulating me on? I didn't do anything.
What sick individuals using ranch with wings instead of blue cheese?
I like ranch better than blue cheese.
Oh, you're a sick human.
Texas changed me. I used to be.
How is he a sick human? Guy. Hold the fucking phone. How's he a sick human?
Oh, language, Charles. It's a family show. Those kids.
Sorry, but how does that make you a sick human? I've used both ranch and blue cheese when I have wings.
Don't hurt me, dude. It's okay.
I'm not gonna hurt you. Calm down.
Listen, I guarantee you in the chat, 9 out of 10 will say blue cheese all the way. Book it.
I eat both ranch and blue cheese, so I love both.
I like both. I think I prefer ranch a little bit more at this point. I
like ranch with my salad.
Ranch, yeah, me too. Ranch salad all the way, but wings, like the classic wings, you got to go blue cheese and celery all the way. I mean, that's what keeps the farce.
Celery, I love me some celery, baby.
Yeah.
Do you like putting celery in a Bloody Mary, Charles? You ever have that cocktail?
No, I can't drink as my medication.
Oh, I see. I'm going to run it up the poll. Do you prefer ranch or blue cheese on wings?
It'll be 7 out of 10 blue cheese, I think.
You never know, man. You never know.
There'll be some sympathy votes for you wet farters.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the poll is live. Vote accordingly. It's the most important poll we've ever run.
Yes.
Anything else on your mind, Charles? Any other takes you want to fire off to Robby? Or as you would put it, any other damn it, you made me laugh. Any other takes you want to let rip?
Yeah, very funny. Nah, man, just wanted to see. I just heard I'm on I made it to number 3 for the month of January, which is interesting because my internet was pretty bad at times. But right now it's pretty good. So hopefully I become number 1 again for this month.
Number 1? What are we talking about?
Well, the goal is to not be number 1 for the month, Charles, because there aren't rankings for this month. The goal is to be a number 1 overall seed at the end of the month when the bracket is announced and you have a chance to do some damage in the tournament.
Is it 64 entries?
68.
With the play-ins?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple people that are going to be in Dayton that have to fight their way in.
Dude, Who won it last year?
It's the first year we've done it.
Oh, I thought you did it last year. That's going to be interesting.
As Maniac Madness is upon us. The committee
it's all
January
Asmaniacs?
ranking. Yeah, it's all Asmaniacs. The committee put out the January top 10 yesterday. I surprise announced it on the stream we did yesterday from Radio Row. It's timestamped in the comments, so you can go back and watch it for those who missed it live. January's top 10 is out. Next up, the tournament. Get ready.
Is who's number one? Is it Bobby? Is he going to be a 1 seed?
So I am not on the committee. My personal top 4 number 1 seeds, Bobby would be one of them, but it's not up to me to decide. I think Gorman's a 1 seed, though. I'd be shocked.
I think Chiefs fan was the number 1 Asmaniac for the month of January.
He was.
Fan, huh?
Ladies and gentlemen, Janice Jet is in on the raffle with 5 memberships. And Charles, in honor of you being here, I'm going to play this very specific video to pay tribute to Janice Jet's incredible gesture.
I think the second one. Excuse me.
All right.
Even
Janice Jet.
Tilted and everything.
Yeah, Charles, break down the tilt there. Honestly, you know what? Maybe more importantly, Robby, you're a coach. You're a film guru.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it one more time. Break down the tilt that you're describing here from Gorman.
I think the second one. Excuse me.
I'll give it. Listen, excellent teamwork. If his dog was to the left of him, if his dog was to the right of him,
I don't have a dog.
You ruined my whole thing, man. Damn it.
I don't have a pet in the house. I wish I did, but I don't.
It has nothing on my dad. When I was a kid, he'd be making something or doing something in the kitchen, and I get up and I see him, and he's walking, and he just puts one leg up, 45-degree angle, and just lets it rip, like Gorman style. So, do you do it when you're walking and standing? That's the question.
Sometimes.
You're one of the greats.
Your mom says they are dirty, son. Honestly, Charles.
Yes, Mom, I know they're dirty. That's why I love them.
Charles, would you be interested in doing like a 1 hour sit down, get to know Charles Gorman, the origin story? I want to bring back a segment that I did a couple of years ago for Patreon users, and I want you to be.
Well, you can do that. You can do that on my channel too. We still need to get together to do a collaboration on my channel.
We will definitely do a collab. I told you when I get back from New Orleans.
Okay.
All right.
But you wanna do it right now or no?
No, I can't do it right
now. I'm talking
now.
about
I got other callers, and I have to let Robby go.
All right. Let me know what you want to do an origin story of me, okay?
I look forward to it, Charles.
All right. Good day.
Good speaking
day to you.
Good speaking to you, Gorman. I hope we meet soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, there he goes, Charles Gorman.
Hey, Charles! You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. Hey, Charles! I'm not saying that Loski takes steroids. I need some of it. Hey, Charles! Who is that lovely lady? Send it this way, Charles!
I don't know, Bobby. Dude, Gorman's in my top 2 now, like favorite callers when I'm on. He's up there.
Charles saw a lot of lovely ladies on Saturday, from what I've been told.
If I could have been a fly on the wall.
By the way, blue cheese is winning, but not by as much as you thought. 58% prefer blue cheese with their wings over 42% saying ranch.
Dude, the mental health epidemic in this country is worse than I thought. Jeez.
Michael Dinapolis, Tim Odenthal, Mike Donovan, Steve V, and Rob L just received channel memberships from Janice. Jets Johnny's in the raffle with a 5 spot. Happy birthday, King Loski. All hail. I need those gourmandies. Robbie's the man. How would you feel about Jalon Walker? Is it Jalen or Jalon Walker at 7? I know he's the kid from Georgia, right?
Yeah. I haven't even gotten to the draft yet, right? Like, if you ask me about anybody, except for Jackson Dart, what's the fascination with Dart right now?
He is a quarterback, and he made some plays at the Senior Bowl, so you got to draft him number 7.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Listen, I'm not ruling pretty much anyone out right now. It's way too early. We don't even know if Rodgers is back. I think once we know the situation with Rodgers, then we could start digging into the draft.
Also, is it King Loski's birthday? Is this true? Why am I just hearing about this now? How was I not notified of this in the Discord or whatever? Unless I missed it. Happy birthday, King Loski. Is today your actual birthday, King? If it is, there's a guy on the line that immediately needs to sing for you. So please confirm, King Loski. I can't believe we didn't know this. Happy birthday to our king, the great King Loski.
He heard me shout him out. He ran right. He's probably been waiting for 30 minutes. What am I talking about?
Unbelievable. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this guy will be the last caller with Robby. I'll stay on for the rest as we're live at Radio Row. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing King Loski back on first. So, King, is it your birthday?
Yeah, Jake, my brother, it's my B-Day, 36 today, my brother. I'm about to go to the tag. I'm about to go to the tag office as we speak.
My man, I love it. Well, I'll tell you what. There's a guy on the line that is here to serenade you the only way he knows how.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course. Hey, I got a question for you, King, before I say anything to you. Where have you been on my channel? You've been missing for action for like 6-8 months. Where have you been? That's your question.
I've been busy.
Oh,
Bobby.
You
know,
been
I've been
busy.
Hey, Bobby, you're gonna let me talk, damn it, or you're not, damn it. All right, Bobby, I've been going through some things.
Damn it.
I think I've been going through some things, Bobby. I recently lost my grandfather, you know what I'm saying? A lot of family issues. It's all good, Bobby. I still love you, Bobby. You know, it's just a lot of family things that been going on. I know, Bobby, I still tune into the show. You and Addison and all of the crew, Sarah. I still see you, Bobby.
Yeah, Sarah and Hawk.
I subscribe to your channel, Bobby. I love you, Bobby.
It's all love.
Guess where Hawk is going to Thursday?
Yeah, I know. Hawk is on his way to Australia, Bobby. I've been tuned in, Bobby.
And I got an interview at Burger King on Wednesday at 3:30. So.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I'm gonna say King Loski. Yeah, you will. And here's King Loski's music song, and I want to thank Cole for something after I sing. Let me sing first. Okay, this is for you, King Loski. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, King Loski. Happy birthday to you. And I hope you have a great day today. How's that? Good?
Bobby, I love you, Bobby. I appreciate you, Bobby.
I love
You're
you
a
too.
freaking legend, Bobby. You're a freaking legend.
Thank you very much.
Was that sign
I want to
language?
thank Cole for something. I want to thank Cole for something for yesterday. Cole, are you there?
He's to my left, yes.
Okay, tell Cole thank you for the nice words he said about me yesterday. I saw the video yesterday.
Cole, Bobby is thanking you for the nice words you said about him yesterday.
What did he say?
Yes. He said
he said that you took a shower and he's very proud of him.
No, not the other one about my calling.
It's an accomplishment.
He's the #1 caller, he said. I was ranked number 10 this year, this month. Who cares? I really
How are you not #1?
Well, you asked Boomtown.
See, that's what I'm saying, Sabo. Sabo,
I had a period like for a week.
low seeds.
I had a period a week or
We
two.
low seeds right now, but it's okay. When the tournament comes and the brackets get filled out, Bobby's gonna get rid of a lot of these clowns out here. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
the
had a
OGs.
period for like 2 weeks. I was not myself for 2 weeks, right, Jake?
Yeah, you had a stick up your rear end.
You was
Yeah.
beefing with Jake for about 2
Oh,
weeks,
yeah.
Bobby.
Yeah, I was. Then it came to normal. Then I'm losing weight too. You have to tune in tonight's weigh-in on Nick's show.
I will be tuned in.
Good news.
I will be tuned
Good
in.
news at 10 o'clock. I'm losing the weight.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking good. I'm feeling better.
All right. Well, Bobby, great job singing for King Loski on behalf of
Appreciate the
everyone
love,
out there.
Jake, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
y'all.
thank you
y'all.
for letting me
Love
on.
y'all.
Before
Everybody in the
Rob,
chat,
I gotta say
appreciate y'all.
something to the Robbie too.
Bobby, great job. King, happy birthday, my man. Appreciate your support
Thank you. I
from day
appreciate you.
one.
Thank you. Sabo, keep that hair herring.
What'd you say? Huh?
I said keep that hair herring, Sabo.
Oh, it's
okay?
flowing. Oh, it's flowing, King. Dude, it's always
love
gonna. The only time it's not flowing is when I gotta get it cut, and I don't want to get it cut, but you gotta stay neat these days. So, but I'll keep it flowing. Don't worry about it.
I love it. Bobby's going like this off air. You make your point to Robby quick, Bobby. I don't want to get you all annoyed again. We can't hear you. You're on mute. We cannot hear you. Great point.
Yes.
Excellent point. Completely agree with you.
No.
Yep.
McDonald's is better than Burger King.
You got to eat the Big Mac, man. You got to eat a Big Mac.
Arby's.
How do you feel about Chick-fil-A?
A little overrated. People might hurt me, but it's a little overrated.
Bobby, you aware your mic is on mute or no? Probably not.
Yeah, because you muted me. That's why.
You muted yourself.
No, I think you muted me. It's right in the top. Okay, so Robby Sabo, my thing for you is that I like the hiring of Aaron Glenn. He's going to be a good coach for the Jets. He's got, what did we call it, Jake, last week? What did we call it last week? I forgot.
Yeah, this is what you had to say. This was so important.
Okay, goodbye, Robby. Have a great day. Thank you, Jake. Have a great rest of the week, Jake. I hope you
That's what he had to say. He couldn't even remember his point. That was so important. We gave him 5 minutes to sing "Happy Birthday" to King Loski. He's upset that we didn't give him more airtime. Are you kidding me?
Bobby, you're still my dude. Don't listen to this meanie Jake. Listen, he loves you too, but you're my guy. You're my guy. Don't sweat it.
That's unbelievable. Get over yourself, Bobby. All right? Get over yourself. That's ridiculous. Anyhow. Robby, you're the man. I appreciate you hopping on. Thanks for still doing this with me out in New Orleans and adjusting on the fly.
You got it. We'll see you next week.
I appreciate you. Robby Sabo, everyone. JetsXFactor.com. Check it out. Daily Jets coverage. Comprehensive Jets analysis. No better spot than JetX. Ladies and gentlemen, we have memberships flying off the shelves. Peter Castro with a 20 spot. 20 channel memberships of all the dramatic things I've ever seen here at Radio Row. A 20 spot from Peter Castro is right up there with any of them. I mean, you could see people behind me are buzzing about Peter Castro's 20 channel memberships. Let's go, baby. Sound the alarms. Let me, if there's anyone who was walking by, I'd grab the man on the street mic and I'd say, hey, Peter Castro's got 20 memberships just gifted. What are your thoughts? But there's no one good walking by. At least it doesn't appear like it. But anyway, Peter, thank you. We added another Namath helmet for those of you who tuned in late. So these will all go to that. There's now 2 Namath helmets that are being up for grabs on Friday in the Asmaniac raffle. Let me see. I do have the 20 names from Peter here. Rob Legod, Tony DeFlippo, Derek Smallwood, Doey Joey, Joe Campanelli, Benjamin Weinstein, Dewey Iyer, Lucas S., Josh B. the Prez, Capo, Donnie Button, Dill Ra, Lord Street, Edwin Caban, Tamarack's Treehouse, Mark Candonau, Walter Rains, Aiken, all receiving a membership. Hey, everyone, if you haven't gotten a membership yet, you might not have memberships turned on. Click on Castro's name and hit the settings in the live chat that you want to be able to receive a gifted membership. And then make sure you're subscribed to the channel and make sure that you like the video and interact, comment on shows even when they're not live. That helps boost the algorithm for you to randomly get one gifted. I wanted to interview someone about Peter Castro getting 20 memberships, but it doesn't appear like there's anyone to talk to. Austria Jet Fan gifted 5 channel memberships. Let's go.
You know, thinking is overrated.
But gifting memberships is not. Austrian, you're in the raffle for 5. Thank you very much for that. We also have another 5, it looks like, that were gifted here during that conversation with Sabo. Green and white pinstripes is in the raffle with 5.
It's J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. I love Fireman Ed, too.
Love that. Here are the names here. Tom Latz, Chris KV, Nicholas Gonzalez, David Sadowski, Primal Gentleman. Those are from Austrian Jet Fan. The next 5 are from the guy you see on the screen there, green and white pinstripes. Dan Maldonado, Jay-Z Jet Fan, Christopher Wheeler, Jason Alcia, Will M, all receiving channel memberships. We are now caught up on memberships. I appreciate you guys immensely for the support. Mike with a super chat. He says Bobby is 1,000 times better at singing Happy Birthday than Beast is. Look, I don't know if Beast can sing Happy Birthday. I don't know if he's done it on the show before, unless I'm not remembering it. Let's see. Tom says, Jake, you might need to have Bobby call back in to clear the air. Bobby, call back in. Let's get to the bottom of this. Why are you so upset at me? We gave you plenty of airtime today. It's never enough for you. More calls right now before we wrap. Kyle Clifton's next. Hello, Kyle.
Hey, Jake. How are you?
What's up, Kyle?
You might have to get a fully illustrated comic book for Charles's origin story. Put it out there for sale on the website.
I think people would love that sit down, though, right? I mean, Charles would provide a tremendous amount of entertainment in an origin story sit down.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He's a Rockets #1 this month. We're all chasing him at this point.
I agree.
So I think some of the other callers and Robby had a good point about challenging players and accountability and how things kind of have to change in the new AG environment. Part of the discussion with Rodgers has to be about what he could do better. Right, like not letting his coach take the blame for him from going to Egypt, and not letting his wide receiver out the drive for not going around the red line. If he took that accountability in front of the team and kind of set the tone, I think that would go a long way towards kind of trying to get to where AG wants us to go. He's not perfect. He's been pretty good. Rodgers. He's set a pretty good example. Stayed here when he was hurt and rehabbed and tried to help Zach and at times when he didn't really need to do it. But I mean, this is the kind of time for some humble pie right now. If he wants to be here, he kind of needs to think about what needs to be done to kind of take things forward with the new regime. And, I'm hopeful that he'll be able to do that. We've seen it happen before where he's embraced change in Green Bay, and he's flourished. So let's see if that can't happen here. That's all I have.
I agree with you. Look, the Egypt stuff doesn't bother me, but I do think with Glenn, he would handle it far differently. Like, I think Salah did a really poor job in hindsight with that. Like, even if Salah didn't love the fact that he was there, saying, well, we have 2 unexcused absences when we all were expecting Reddick to be the only one. Just be like, Aaron told us a while ago he wasn't going to be available for this week. He's been at everything else this offseason. So he had something that was important to him, and we know he's going to be ready for a training camp. Like, if he had just said that, I don't think it's a big deal at all. Unfortunately, is that Dan Orlovsky behind me? No, it's not. But unfortunately, Salah botched it. Like, I thought that was a poor job by Salah in hindsight. Now, the other stuff with Mike Williams, I agree with you. It wasn't a good look to criticize him, even though he's right. He did run the wrong route if you look at it. But I think overall, Aaron has been fine. That's really not a big concern of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, I can announce that in our next Asmaniac raffle, when I get back from the Super Bowl, it will feature another autographed item by our new head coach, Aaron Glenn. I just got the notification that I won the bidding for a new Glenn item. So I'm already thinking about raffle number 15 once we wrap up raffle number 14. Speaking of raffles, Frank is in our 14th raffle that now features 2 Joe Willie Namath helmets. Appreciate you, Frank. Before we wrap up, let's get to a couple more calls here. We're live at Radio Row. We're going to be putting out some content on the channel throughout the day. I got some good interviews scheduled today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, but I want to give at least one long-form Jet show a day, which is what this is right now for those of you who tuned in late. Jason in Jerusalem is next. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Jake. How you doing? How's New Orleans?
So far, so good. Had a great dinner last night in the French Quarter. It was good stuff.
You ever see the Homer Simpson clip of him walking around eating everything? I think you need to recreate that for all the Asmaniacs.
Well, I could cross off Gator and a Muffaletta. Muffaletta, yeah, very good.
All right, well, that leaves you, what, like 45 left to go?
We still got a lot. New Orleans is a great food town.
All that talk with Gorman, wanted to ask you one of the questions been bothering me for a while. You got a 1-year-old nephew. Did you buy him Jets diapers or Patriots diapers?
I feel like you buy him Patriots diapers because it's a funnier bit.
Even though it looks like he's walking around supporting the Patriots.
Yeah, but it's funny. He's taking a dump on the Patriots, Gorman style.
Okay. Because I always wondered why do you brand Boston Red Sox diapers? It's like you should sell that just in New York and sell the Yankee ones out in Fenway.
You get a Jets onesie and you get Patriot diapers.
Yeah, but when the Patriots sell the diaper, they're the ones who get a cut of it. They get the royalties.
By the way, in our ranch blue cheese poll, it's a lot closer than anyone anticipated. 54% blue cheese, 46% ranch. That is a lot different than what Robby Sabo thought. He thought it'd be 70-30 pro blue cheese.
I need to ask you one question though, because you're out of New Orleans, and I saw this and I thought this was big news. The whole story about the Saints and the Catholic Church out there. What do you think is going to happen to the Saints if this comes true?
To be honest with you, Jason, I haven't read the details of the story yet because I was traveling yesterday when it broke. So I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know the extent of it just yet. So I don't want to speculate because I don't know all the details. I just saw the headline like everyone else. Cole, who's sitting next to me, goes, Jason, you get them dolphin diapers. They need to pay for 2S therapy. Paying for that or playing for that franchise. Not bad. You guys want to see the wings they have here? Let's see if it's any good. House of Wingman. See, we're gonna give Bounty a free plug because they're providing lunch. They deserve it. All right, I'm gonna eat a wing on the air because there's nothing people love more than watching others eat. In honor of our ranch blue cheese conversation, I will dip it in ranch. Here we go. Maybe because I'm hungry. This is pretty good. You don't like it? Cole is trying it as well to my left. King Loski says I need some of it. What do you want more, Loski? Do you want Charles Gorman's mother's chicken soup or a Radio Row wing sponsored by Bounty so I could use a Bounty paper towel to clean my hands after? By the way, I won't say which Jets players are doing appearances for Bounty this week, but if I can't get them both on after this free plug on this show, there's no hope for society. All right, I got time for one more call. He was the guy who recommended the restaurant we dined at because it was right near the area in the French Quarter we were staying at. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now on the Gusbuster hotline is...
Joe Douglas should have been fired 2 days before he was hired.
Hey, Garrett.
What's up, Jake?
Did you hear any of what I was just saying or no?
I was pouring coffee. I missed about the last 30 to 45 seconds.
Well, I said that you gave the recommendation of the place we ate dinner at last night.
Oh, yeah. How was it?
Very good.
Good. Pierre Maspero's, am I saying that right?
The original Pierre Maspero.
The originals. Did you get fried gator?
Friday? Oh, you didn't see? You didn't watch the beginning of the show?
I missed the beginning of the show. I missed the first 20 minutes of the show.
Jake Asman trying gator.
First ever gator. Not Gator McCluskey. Gator, like alligator. Here we go, folks. New Orleans for life.
What's it like, Jake Asman?
Just like chicken.
Overall review. There we go.
Tastes
It's good, right? It's good.
Very good. And then we had the muffaletta as well.
There you go. I see you had a nice Louisiana day. Yeah, fine Louisiana. It's good, right?
I had to start it off the week, by going full Louisiana last night.
You never had fried gator when you were in Houston, though?
Never. No, that was my first time.
Okay. Good.
I wish I did. I liked it. It was excellent.
I want to get on a couple of things that I don't like. And I love Robby Sabo, but no more food takes for him. First of all, blue cheese is like subhuman. Blue cheese is a trash condiment for trash human beings. If you're putting blue cheese on anything, especially wings, you're a psycho. Like you're mentally...
Blue cheese is winning the poll, so the majority of people disagree with you.
Well, this is just one poll from your group. So you have a disproportionate amount of mentally ill people in this group if they're eating blue cheese. Blue cheese,
pot,
blue
meat,
cheese
kettle.
is mold.
Pot, meat, kettle.
And then, so I want to understand this, Robby Sabo. Blue cheese good, Chick-fil-A bad. That's what I took away from his time on the Jake Asman show today. Do you want to say that Robby Sabo's opinions are his own and they don't they have nothing to do with the Jake Asman show?
I respect Robbie's opinions
on football,
just like I respect your opinions, even though they're batshit crazy 9 out of 10 times.
Do you think blue cheese good, which is a trash condiment for trash people?
I don't hate blue cheese. I like ranch better, especially you're a Texas guy. If the ranch is from Pluckers, there's no better ranch I've had in my life.
You guys have Pluckers in Houston? I didn't know you had. I love Pluckers.
We have Pluckers in Houston. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Pluckers. I'm a Pluckers. Other than the Louisiana Purchase, I would argue a Pluckers membership is one of the great deals in the history of the United States.
Pluckers is fantastic. Pluckers is
By the way, as I was eating dinner last night, it really hit me. We absolutely fleeced the French in the Louisiana Purchase. Fleeced them. Like worse than honestly, I don't know if there's been a worse trade since the Doncic deal.
I don't know what to make of the Doncic deal. If they're not going to re-sign him, if they don't want to commit $350 million to him, isn't Anthony Davis good value in return?
They should not pay Luka Doncic. They should pay him.
Look, they think he's fat and lazy and doesn't play defense. I would roll the dice with it. It's Luka. He's one of the 5 greatest offensive players of all time. But if they think they know him better than anybody else, if they think he's fat and lazy and he's only going to get worse, do you want to pay him $350 million till he's 30 years old?
Because that contract, it doesn't matter. The NBA money only goes up. Remember, Jaylen Brown signed his crazy $300 million deal. Like it's how it goes.
I would
you don't trade a
keep
top 5
Luka.
player in the league at 25 years old. Who's not even in his prime. You would be trying to argue that it's.
I'm not arguing. I wouldn't. If the Nets had Luka, I'd be pissed right now. And they did that. If the Nets did what the Mavs did, I'd be pissed right now. But like, 2 questions. Are the Mavs right now closer to a championship today than they were last week? The answer to that might be yes.
I don't think they are. I don't think you get better trading Luka Doncic. I don't care if you got Anthony Davis, who can't stay healthy.
Anthony Davis, Lively, and Gafford in the front court. Like that is going to be a lot to deal with in the playoffs. A lot.
They need to win the championship either this year or next year. Otherwise, it's an awful deal.
And the Lakers can't win. If the Lakers win a championship with Luka 3 years down the road, and the best you did was like a second round exit. No, I agree. Like the odds of this working out for Dallas is not in their favor right now. I'm trying to just come up with reasons why Dallas might do this. If it was me, I would keep Luka. And Mark Cuban said he would divorce his wife before he traded Luka. So, if Mark Cuban was still the owner of the Mavs, this wouldn't happen. It's the most shocking trade in any sport that I can remember. No one thought it was real. Like when you remember where you were when you saw the news, like there's no way this trade is real. And then you're like clicking on Sham's tweets, like, is this cat? Like this can't be right. And it was.
Look, all I can tell you is the Mavs had Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic, and they don't have either of them anymore.
I have neither. That's 2 all NBA guards, and now you have neither. It is what it is. Then I wanted to. I don't want to defend Indy Jet fans' take from earlier. And look, Rodgers wasn't better in the second half than he was the first half. I mean, he wasn't better in the first half than he was the second half. He was better in the second half. But he still wasn't good, especially in the second half. Indy Jet fan has a point. Like, we make it sound like
of course.
Dandy in the second half of the season. He really wasn't.
Yeah, but he loses when he's like, he played better overall in the first half than he did the second half. He didn't. He played.
Yeah, I can't.
The eye test told you that he played better in the second half of the season, and the stats back that up too. Like, he moved better. He was more efficient, and he wasn't perfect. I think part of it is the stagnant offense and lack of a running game. I'm hoping with a real modern scheme, Aaron could play at a higher level than what we saw, but the team around him is also better, helping him out. Can the defense force more turnovers, what Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilkes' defenses are supposed to do? Like, then you get more possessions offensively. His last game, would we all agree he looked great against the Dolphins, against a defense that's supposed to be decent, and he went out there and threw 4 touchdowns all on the run?
No, he had some games. Like I said, the same thing like Kobe's last year. He's going to have some games, but he's going to have more bad at this age. He's going to have more bad games than he is good games, right? Like I'm not saying
I don't know about that. He might have more mediocre games than good games, but my point is, if he's a mediocre quarterback, then is he not the best mediocre quarterback option they have? All the other options might be worse.
I don't necessarily disagree with bringing him back if the money is right. Like, I don't hate that idea because for what you said, give me another option.
Right.
Like
I'm not trying to hype up Rodgers.
Is Justin Fields actually better than Rodgers?
I don't think
he is. Know. Probably
that's
not.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not trying to be like a Rodgers apologist here. Like if you sold me on a better option, I'd say move on. But I don't think there's a better option. That's why I'm not throwing away. I want to win games. I think he gives us the best chance to win games.
Right now, of the options that we have, you can't just have Tyrod Taylor. I like Tyrod, but he's going to be hurt by Columbus Day. So we have to have a plan B if you're going to go with Tyrod.
Correct.
Right? So that's not really an option. So I'm going to start Tyrod for 17 weeks. We all know that's not going to happen. So give me a better option than Rodgers. And until you do, Rodgers on a restructured deal might be the best option that we have. I'm not saying it's a winning move, but it might be the best move on the chessboard right now.
Hey, Gary, is there anything you wanted me to say to Ryan Leaf? He's right here.
Ryan Leaf? Like the Ryan Leaf?
Yeah, he's doing an interview at the table next to us.
No, just give him my best. Tell him God bless.
Should I be like Zach Wilson or you? Worst number 2 overall pick historically.
I heard Ryan Leaf's turned his life around. He's doing good.
No, he is.
Right?
He's actually a very nice guy. I shouldn't be
Good.
a dick. He's actually a nice guy. He hates the Jets, though, so maybe I should be a dick. I don't know.
You use your words to create life, not death. Be positive to him. The guy had a rough run there. He's doing better now.
I agree with that. That's fair.
And Zach Wilson. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to have that debate. Not with him with an earshot. But that's a debate for the ages, right there.
He can't hear you. Don't worry.
Wasn't Achilles Smith also a second overall pick, or was he 3?
Good question. He was either was Achilles Smith second or third overall? Third overall.
Third overall. Okay. He's in that conversation of all time.
He is.
Biggest disasters at quarterback. Yeah.
All right, Gary. Well, I got to run. I got more interviews to tape today, so I appreciate the dinner wreck last night. It was actually not bad.
I'm glad it worked out for you. Have a good trip, Jake. I love New Orleans. Enjoy your time there.
Gary, appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, 3D boxing himself.
Plants are trying to kill me, so I think I'll eat a stick of butter. Yeah, ladies, you can do it.
All right, there we go. Super chat here at the buzzer. Let's get to it. Raffle entry for Papa Jet. He's in for 5. Jake and Gary calls. Always start out mellow, but by the end, you can see Jake's veins in his forehead. Typically, that definitely could be true sometimes. No doubt about that. I'm still trying to play with the camera, folks, to figure out what the best angle is when I'm solo here. When we have a guest, you got to adjust on the fly, but we'll figure it out throughout the week. I want to give you guys a little feel of the radio rowness. Hopefully this camera angle works for everyone. Dre writes in, blue cheese is disgusting, point blank, period. I don't love blue cheese, Dre, but I've become a ranch guy. Maybe that's the Texas in me from living down there for 6 years. Anyway, awesome show. I really appreciate all of you who tuned in. Thank you to everyone who gifted a membership. It means a lot. It helps support the channel this week. And that's why we were able to add 2 Namath helmets for our biggest raffle ever. Not 1, but 2. Plus a Klecko helmet, Gastineau helmet, Glenn photo, Glenn jersey. So you guys invest in the show. I invest back in you. So I can't thank you guys enough for your continuous support. We're going to have some good interviews on the channel today. I'm working on a few surprises as well. The one interview I will confirm that's scheduled is we're going to talk with Thomas Dimitroff, who was the first candidate that the Jets interviewed for their GM opening. Dimitroff is someone that I wanted to get the job. So I'm going to ask him about that interview process, what he asked him, the Aaron Rodgers conversation, all that and more. So appreciate all of you. Hit the like button if you haven't. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Follow me on Instagram at Jake Asman if you want some behind-the-scenes photos and videos from our time here in New Orleans. We have our media party tonight, which should be a lot of fun. So see what the NFL has in store for everyone who made the trip down to New Orleans. Once again, thank you to Robby Sabo who came on. Thank you to everyone who tuned in live. If you're not watching live, well, shout out to you for watching after the fact as well. Enjoy your day. Check the channel later for more content from New Orleans. And I end this message, or I end the show with one message to everyone out there. Jets football, baby. Believe.
The Jets are going to come back. No, they're not. They're never going to come back. They're never going to come back.
Period. Little Victor Cruz dance. Oh, Victor. Woo. I'm doing a little salsa, baby. Yeah. Woo.
I don't know why it's not ending here, folks. I don't know what happened. I'm going to try and end the show from my phone because StreamYard from my computer just crashed at the end of the show. Anyway, thank you all for watching. We'll be back this afternoon with more content on the channel. Go Jets.